Okay, so here's part 2 of my review thing. Anyway, so let's compare and contrast the actual Repo Men. In Repo the Genetic Opera, Repo Men are seen more as an entity. Their uniform is this all black trench coat thing, and they've got these huge helmets that cover their entire faces and look like surgeons' masks, kind of. And people see them as like almost an urban legend. Um, the very first song is like something you would hear um, when you're at a party and you're trying to scare someone. Uh, and they're not seen as separate people, they're just seen as the Repo Man. And they're something to be afraid of and terrified, and with reason to. When they repossess organs, they don't give a shit if you live or die. Literally, they find you in a dark alley and they snap your neck. That's what they gotta do. Then they cut you open, take out the organs, and leave your rotting carcass in the street. Sometimes they bring them to their dens where they do it more discreetly. Like, I guess that would be for finer jobs. But yeah, that's Repo Men in Repo the Genetic Opera. Now, Repo Men and Repo Men, that sounds really stupid, are more like normal everyday Repo Men here, only they deal with organs. They drive around in their car. Their main the way you can tell they're Repo Men is they got like a barcode tattoo on their necks. It's kind of silly. And they use these scanners to detect if you've got an organ that needs to be taken out. Kind of like cops, they're going around trying to find people who have them so they can put them into their quarry. They get people who have illegal organs, things like that. And yeah, what they wear is like a rain slicker almost, a see-through rain slicker when they work. And they're a little nicer, you know. They go and say, "Hey, yeah, so do you want us to pick up, call you an ambulance so you can get these organs back and then pay again, and probably have the scenario happen all over again, or I'll just kill you." It's actually a little crueler than the genetic opera, where they just kill you. Just end it. um, but yeah. So the main Repo Man in the genetic opera is Nathan, and he was a doctor. And, he did not want to be a Repo Man. He's, again, as I said, he's blackmailed into it by Roddy, who needed someone professional. I guess this was early on in the Repo Man game, and he was like the first one. And he's very conflicted by it. He hates it. And in order to do this job, he actually develops a split personality. Like, it's sick and twisted, but that's what he has to do this job. And, yeah. Then the main Repo guy in Repo Men is Remy, and he actually enjoyed his job before he got the heart. He liked it. He made jokes with his friend and partner about it, and they had a good time doing this gig. And it wasn't until he had the heart that he was like, "Oh crap! Now I feel bad, because this could be me." But in actuality, as his friend pointed out, if he just did this job, he could pay off his heart, and then he wouldn't have to worry about this happening to him. But instead, he doesn't. His confliction really does not make any sense to me, to be honest. Nathan's is more viable because he was a doctor. He wanted to help people, and he's forced to do this. Remy, on the other hand, he was a soldier, and the war ended early, apparently. And he chose this job. He went into this job, and he stuck with this job even after his wife went and said, "Get out of this job, or I'm divorcing you." Oh, another thing, just to let you know, okay? Um, Nathan, yeah, bro, his wife died 17 years ago, and he never got over it. He has pictures of her all over his house. Her body is inside the house. Okay? A little creepy, but he's devoted. Remy, on the other hand, been married to this woman approximately 7 years. And they have a son together. She just can't take this Repo game anymore. And she divorces him. She separates from him. The papers haven't even gone through yet. But as he's running away and he meets this girl who's got all these organs in her, and he starts a relationship like literally less than 2 months after his wife leaves him, in less than a day. What the hell? So yeah, you can tell I don't like Remy. The main villain of Repo the Genetic Opera is Roddy Largo, the founder of GeneCo. And he's trying to get Shiloh to abandon her father, become his successor, and he basically just wants to ruin Nathan's life. That's pretty much what he's doing. Keep his company alive, that sort of thing. He's underhanded and sneaky and makes a great villain. The one is in Repo the Genetic Opera. There really isn't one. It's the company, the place that they work for, which is actually called the company. Real original. But yeah, I guess the villain would be considered the guy who does sales that Remy and his partner work closely with. But really, he's not trying to get Remy fired, make him do this. He didn't even want him to have the heart. He didn't say, "Oh, you gotta have this heart." He wasn't the one who put it in him. He's just doing his job, really. He actually has some of the funny lines. Very few funny lines in this movie, where Remy actually kidnaps him a couple of times, and he's got him to gunpoint in his car, and he's like, "Oh, again? Seriously?" Yeah, probably one of the only funny moments in there. Right next to the 9-year-old surgeon. But yeah, him and the other villain, I guess, would be his ex-partner, who has some sort of obsessive, controlling issue. Like he always wants to be with his friend. He can't handle that they're not together. Okay, dude, you've got way more issues than almost anyone in the Genetic Opera. Seriously? How about you come out of the closet? But he's running around chasing him, trying to get him to either come back or get his pay off of the repo of him and his girlfriend. And in the end, you find out that he was the one who decided to put the heart in him, so he would stay in the repo game. And then he decides, instead of letting his friend die, pulling the plug, he puts this brain thing in his head that makes him think he's had a wonderful life. That's just horrible. Well, at least they're always together now. Yeah. The main girl in Genetic Opera is Shiloh, but the one that would compare best to the one in Repo Man is Blind Mag. So, Blind Mag meets Roddy Largo, and he offers her, and she is blind, she was blind, he offers her new genetically altered eyes so that she can see again, and in exchange, she is now the voice of Jinko. She sings exclusively for Jinko's genetic operas, she does commercials, she does all of that, and she hates it. She can't stand it anymore. It's been like 17 years. She doesn't want to do it anymore. So she's quitting. And in the end, what happens, it culminates, it goes to this final song where it's the best line ever, I think, for her, which is, "Come take these eyes, I would rather be blind." She plucks her own eyes out on stage for everyone to see. She smiles, then she dies. Roddy, she's like hanging up above. She's pretending to be a bird. You gotta see it. But Roddy cuts the line. She falls to her death. But she is the tragic heroine in this series, in this movie, because of what she went through and how it ended for her. And I really do like Blind Mag. I think she was a wonderful character. The woman in Repo Man, I can't even remember her name. The only reason I remember any one of these guys' names, the only reason I remember Remy's name, is because of Gambit. Seriously, that's the only reason I remember that name. But anyway, she's this singer, bar lounge singer, that Remy and his partner have seen a couple of times. And she just gets into a lot of accidents and needs like all of these replacement parts. She's got like fake ears, limbs, organs, all this stuff, and really she doesn't have much of a character. She's just there to tag along with Remy, and pretty much that's it. Sneak him around to the underground and kind of make things a living hell, because she's like a Repo Man magnet because of how many organs she has in her, how many parts and shit she has in her that are past due. And in the end, she dies. She doesn't even get the brain thingy. Like, he doesn't care. He isn't secretly in love with her. That's what I think of the partner. I'm completely honest. If you watch this movie and you look at the partner, you gotta think he's just like not coming out of the closet ever. And he's like secretly in love with his best friend. So, yeah. I'm gonna say this once. Repo the Genetic Opera came out first. It was started as a short film years ago. Started as an idea in the 1990s with two friends. Then made it into a short film. Then they made it into stage play in the early 2000s. And then the guy who produced and I think directed Saw ended up seeing the stage play and decided, hey, I want to make this into a movie. And it took him like forever to find someone to let him make this into a movie. And then he made it. Low budget. Then Repossession Mambo is a book that came out, and they decided, hey, let's make this into a movie too. It came out years after Repo was a stage play. So for anyone who says that Repo the Genetic Opera was made after Repo Man is a bloody liar. Okay? Because if anyone stole from anyone, it was Repo Man or Repossession Mamba from Repo the Genetic Opera. Just saying that now. Anyway, if you're gonna watch a Repo movie, watch the Genetic Opera. Seriously, it's so much better.